By force, by fire, we're back in the streets. Come on, Ruto basi. This country has 54 million Kenyans. You're not the only one who can lead us. Na tukisema Ruto waende, tuseme Ruto peke yake. Tukisema Ruto na Rigathi waende. They should all go.
It shall not be business as usual. It shall not be well with you, Mr. President.
This country is not a police state.
The president has refused to listen to our issues. And now he's using the state, to silence us and to maim us and to kill us.
That song of saying we don't know who is missing, we don't know who has been killed in the protests, that song must now cease.
So we came here today because we had an appointment with the Office of the President to present a list. We came with the families with one agenda, asking for justice for the victims and for the disappeared. And we still have masked police in our streets. Why are they being masked in the streets? We are asking our government, if the police are upholding rule of law, why are they coming masked? And why are they targeting me specifically? We have told the Principal Secretary to go and tell the President that next week shall be back here. And if there is no justice for the victims, they're going back to the streets. If there is no justice, we're going back to the streets. And we know it's not a favor by the President, it's a right by the Constitution, and you're going to do it. If the President cares about this country, he should care about these mothers who are here. He claims no one has been abducted. We have a list of those being abducted. We have shared the list. He promised compensation for the victims. We know very well that money can never bring back any life. But if he promised compensation, it can at least help the families to pay for bills and to move on in a small way. So we're asking for compensation for the victims, we're asking for justice, and we demand for the firing of the officers who murdered innocent citizens. The crime scene is Parliament. Parliament has CCTV cameras. Why is he after innocent people? If he's a man enough, murderer, after the killers of the innocent, go after the people who are violence in the streets, because none of the people who are murdered, none of the people in the streets on that particular day today were involved in the treasonous action, victimized by the government kids. This country has 54 million Kenyans. You're not the only one who can lead us. Na tukisema Ruto waende, tuseme Ruto peke yake. Tukisema Ruto na Rigathi waende. They should all go. Compensation, accountability, they resign en masse. Wote ni wafanyikazi wetu. Ruto ni mfanyikazi wetu. He should never forget that. By force, by fire, we're back in the streets. Kama unakutua kuja tuwe Ruto basi.
The state of where we're at today is extremely disappointing. It's infuriating. It's been over 3 months that Kenyans have been being murdered, disappeared, tortured, disembodied, disfigured. And today, after many different attempts by all sorts of different organizations, activists, individuals, civil society, today when we finally are able to give a list of names, tunaambiwa, asante, kama ambao walikuwa hawajui, kama ambao hizi story, they're not online, there's no videos, there's no footage. These lists, these names have been circulating, burials have been aired. You can see point blank people being shot as well as the murderers. So how is it that 3 months later, we're here asking what concrete actions have been being taken? Not what false promises are you going to give us today, what actions have already been being towards accountability?
That have lost their young ones today here, and I was met with a lot of police brutality, have been arrested, have been interrogated, they have violated my fundamental rights, the same way they violated the rights of the young people that we are fighting for. I think the message is very clear, that the president has refused to listen to our issues, and now he's using the state, to silence us and to maim us and to kill us. I think it's high time that as a community, we ask the president that if you are unable to lead us, if you are unable to deal with the grievances, then we better eject you from that office and get the right people that can lead us. So this is a warning message to the president. This is a warning message to the people in authority and power, that you need to respect the masses, you need to give us justice, or it is just a time bomb until we come for you. We will eventually come for you, Mr. President, and your people, because it cannot be that we are being violated, we are being killed, we are being abducted, but you are not apologizing, you are not investigating, and you are doing nothing. So, Mr. President, the young people, not that we are quiet at Tumeshindwa, we are giving you time to behave, but it seems you have not listened. It seems you are not reflecting. And I think it is high time that the people unite against this regime and the police that are hell-bent to deny us our rights. So, Mr. President, we ask you, please respect Kenyans, please respond to their issues, please give justice to the victims of police brutality. Else, it shall not be business as usual. It shall not be well with you, Mr. President. We need justice as a community.
Kwa majina naitwa Nixon Kamau. Najitaje, my uncle Emmanuel Mukuria aligo missing on the 25th mwezi wa 6. Alikuwa hapo hivyo kwa maandamano, alafu kuarestiwa akadisappear hivyo. Since then tumepata news that ako Industrial walishikwa na mtu mwenye alitoka akatupatia news bado ako huko. Since then tumekuwa tukienda huko day in day out, tukienda kutafuta mtu wetu, wanashinda wakituambia kitu tu moja, wajamuona. Tumeenda huko tumuuliza, tumeenda kwa IPOA, tumeenda bado tumefile huko kesi zetu, bado wanatuambia the same thing, wajamuona. Kijana akatupatia evidence, akatuambia ndio huyu. Sasa hizi tumeshinda tukienda huko, wanatuambia the same, wanamtafuta, wanataka kutupatia mtu wetu. Mimi naweza sema walai, justice ifanyike kwa mtu wetu na ajitaje kama ameshikwa ama amefanywa nini. People tunataka baa, kwa sababu hatuwezi kama sasa tunashinda tukililia serikali tufanyie kazi. Alafu mtu anaweza shikwaje na polisi, alafu yeye ndo bado anaenda missing, na alishikwa na polisi na watu walimuona akishikwa. Haiwezi fanyika walai. Polisi wamekuja hapa hivi kutu guard. Si ati wanatushika alafu tunadisappear. Sisi kama Gen Z hatuwezi endelea hivi. Please, justice to my brother.
Justice to your brother.
Justice to your brother. Mwingine wa family, I think there's a mother who is overwhelmed. Amepotea.
Njoo hapa karibu.
Mimi naitwa Alice Wamboi, mzazi wa Peter Macharia, mwenye alipotea kutoka 25th of June hadi saa hii sijampata. Nimemtafuta kila mahali, hospitali, kwa police stations, mortuary. Nimeview mili mingi sana nikimtafuta na bado sijapata justice hadi saa hii. Nimemtafuta sana, serikali ifanye kitu tu ndio tupate watoto wetu. Tuko na uchungu sana.
Inua picha juu. Pole. So we'll have the human rights civil society groups that were there. We have Law Society, Vocal Africa, Nerima, where are you? Then
Anza wewe.
So the fact that we're here today is a moment that we don't wish on any family, and it's sad that our country is to protect its young people, the futures. This administration entered government saying that they support young people, yes. And we're seeing here that they're cutting young people's lives short. Young people only demanding for justice, they only are demanding for accountability, and now we have here mothers and siblings coming and speaking on behalf of the voices that have been silent. Kenya cannot continue like this. We cannot permit Kenya to continue like this, and we need to stand strong with these families, because it's sad what's happening, and the fact that here we are trying to move on as a country when families cannot sleep at night, wondering where their children are, wondering whether they've eaten that night and whether they're going to come back home. The torment, and this has happened for more than 60 days. We're still questioning where these young people are. And for those who have been killed, we have seen absolutely no accountability from the police. The same police who are here masked, trying to abduct and arrest activists here who are standing on behalf of the families and just pushing for justice and accountability. We have seen nothing. Yeah. So this country will have no peace, frankly speaking, if it's killing its young people. It will have no peace. And what we're demanding here is justice and accountability from the police.
Nerima Wako.
Siasa Police Director. I'm an activist.
So very briefly, just a summary, and then the other colleagues, we have Law Society, Boniface, and others who will also say a word or two. As you might know, since the president said that he doesn't have any list, we have made several attempts, not just here at the office of the president, but also at State House, to try and deliver this list. And today we were confirmed, and they told us to come at 2:30. But when we were out here waiting to go inside, police from, I don't know, the killer cops that we've been seeing all along, masked, came and tried to arrest some of our colleagues, and we were here with the families of victims, and we are saying this country is not a police state. How can we be out here waiting to meet the principal administrative secretary, and then some hooligan police officers, masked and, you know, in plain clothes, come here to try and arrest, to brutalize our delegation, and we are saying this is uncalled for. And we know them. Tunawajua hao polisi. Now the way they put wanted men on billboards, we have their pictures, and we intend to do that. We will put their pictures on billboards, na tuwatangaze na tuambie Kenyans that these are rogue police officers who are violating the constitution, who are violating the law. And as a country, we cannot allow rogue police officers to roam our streets, killing people, disappearing people. That's the first thing that we need to have out very clearly. Secondly, we have handed over the list. These are stamped letters and lists that we have now submitted to the presidency. That song of saying we have a list, we don't know who is missing, we don't know who has been killed in the protests, that song must now cease. On his behalf, Mr. Osia, Principal Administrative Secretary, told us this list has been received and that he will ensure it gets to the president. What we want to see now is action. Correct. And we have assured them any support they need. If they want the post-mortem reports, we will give them. If they want the burial permits, we will give them. If they want to know the family to record statements, we will give them. We want those rogue police officers arrested. And we have agreed that within 7 days, we will be back here. We will be back here to follow up, to know what action has been taken. Kenyans cannot be dying left, right, and center, killed by the same bullets that they pay for as taxpayers. Enough is enough already. We want those rogue officers interdicted and arraigned before a court of law so that action can be taken to ensure that the right to peaceful assembly is guaranteed in this country.
Good evening, members of the press. My name is Wakili Steve Mbogwa, council member with the Law Society of Kenya. And first of all, I want to condemn the actions by the police officers we have witnessed today. We have seen a lot of brutalization by the police, use of force against some of our members who came to this office, which is a public office, upon a confirmation of a meeting by the secretary of this office. So that was very much uncalled for, and we do hereby condemn those actions, and also want to reiterate our position as LSK that we are going to take actions against this kind of brutality that we continue to witness in this country. Secondly, I want to echo what my brother has mentioned, that the purpose of today's visit was to provide a list of all the persons that were killed, all the persons who are disappeared and forced to disappear by the state, those who are in the hands of the state and disappeared and cannot be traced. We have come with a few of the family members of those whose skins have been disappeared by the state. And we wanted to remind the head of state that those utterances that he has been giving in international media stations across the country, mentioning that he is not aware of the persons who were killed, that now he has the full list. And we have also taken further actions as LSK and also other human rights groups to try and seek justice through habeas corpus applications in court to hold accountable the police officers who have taken, who took hostage of these persons. We saw last week some of the victims who had been abducted were released after a very serious, intensive campaign of calling for their release. It's so unfortunate when we see Kenyans being subjected to a lot of torture, subjected to a lot of mistreatment, just because of clamoring for good governance, clamoring for accountability, and therefore they are falling victim of the persons who have been entrusted to protect the constitution. It's therefore very bad and very unfortunate, And we believe and hope that this country is going to be redeemed, and the revolution is not going to cease anytime soon until we have seen the country has been secured from the shackles of oppression under the leadership of William Samoei Ruto. Thank you.